So you know about this art form, right? Stained glass. It's pretty, isn't it? You see these painted glass mostly as windows, like in a church depicting saints and Christ, or in some houses as a decoration piece. I'm sure one of you watching this video has a stained glass window in their house. No matter if it's your parents, but it's there. But today we're gonna learn about an artist known for his stained glass artwork that's bringing Tiffany, or his real name, Louis Confront Tiffany. So let's get started. Louis Confront Tiffany was an American artist and designer who worked in the decorative arts, and is best known for his work in stained glass. He was associated with the Art Nouveau and artistic movements. Tiffany designed stained glass windows and lamps, glass mosaics, blow glass, ceramics, jewelry, enamels, and metalwork. And he was the first design director at his family's company, Tiffany & Co., which was founded by his father, Charles Louis Tiffany. To many people, the word Tiffany signifies wealth and prestige. It means glittering jewels, beautiful stained glass, and an expensive jewelry establishment on the New York polished Fifth Avenue. Louis Confront Tiffany, however, was the son of the founder of the jewelry business, Charles Louis Tiffany, was far more than a man of wealth. During his lifetime, he was a successful designer, painter, and decor, and a philanthropist, as well as a driving force behind a whole new art style. Born in New York City on February 18, 1848, young Louis studied art at home and in Paris. By 1875, he had begun experimenting with different ways of coloring blow glass. Working out of his factory in Corona, New York, he produced a glass called Favril. Unique and freely shaped, it was an iridescent quality and was often with metals with striking effect. From 1890 to about 1915, Tiffany's glass became prized to the world over. It came back into fashion during the 1960s and remains popular today. Innovation was the mark of Louis Tiffany, and he expressed it in many ways. His floral jewelry became an important contribution to the Art Nouveau movement, which swept through Europe and America between 1890 and 1910. Art Nouveau artists and craftspeople rebelled against the imitation of old art forms, and they upheld widespread use of precious stones in jewelry. Instead, Tiffany and others began working with new materials to create flowing, dramatic effects in symbolic forms. Although he achieved great success as a glassmaker and designer of jewelry, Tiffany's most creative work was probably as a decorator. He designed the altar in the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, New York City, and Chapel of the World's Columbian Expedition, Chicago, 1893. President Chester A. Arthur, who was in office from 1881 to 1885, commissioned Tiffany to redecorate the reception rooms in the White House, and in 1911, Tiffany designed the magnificent huge glass theater curtain at the Paseo de las Letras in Mexico City. He also designed his own elegant estate in Long Island, New York, where he set up the Louis Confront Tiffany Foundation for art students. When the Tiffany home was sold in 1946, the proceeds were donated to the foundation's scholarship fund. Tiffany remained active and creative throughout most of his life. died in New York City on January 17th, 1933, at the age of 84. The Charles Hosmer Morris Museum of American Art in Winter Park, Florida, houses the world's most conspicuous collection of the works of Louis Confont Tiffany, including Tiffany jewelry, pottery, paintings, art glass, leaded glass windows, lamps, and the Tiffany Chapel he designed for the 1893 World's Columbian Expedition in Chicago. After the close of the expedition, a benefactor purchased the entire chapel for installation in the crypt of the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, New York City. As construction of the cathedral continued, the chapel fell into disuse, and in 1916, Tiffany removed the bulk of it to Lorden Hall. After a 1957 fire, Hugh McKean, an art student in 1930 at Lorden Hall, and his wife, Jeanette Genius McKean, rescued the chapel, which now occupies an entire wing of the Morris Museum, which they founded. Many glass panels from Lorden Hall are also there. For many years, some were on display in local restaurants and businesses in Central Florida. Some were replaced by full-scale color transparencies after the museum opened. A major exhibit at New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art on Lorden Hall opened in November 2006. An exhibit at All New York Historical Society in 2007 featured new information about the woman who worked for Tiffany and their contribution to design credited to Tiffany. The society holds and exhibits a major collection of Tiffany work. And that's the history of Tiffany I'll be explaining. I hope you loved it and wish to see more of my Story of America cards that I have from my collection explained into a video format and script. So see you next time. Bye.